Obviously, the stock that everybody wants to talk about is United Health Group. Obviously, that probe that the DOJ said that they were going to do on United Health, and the United Health says, well, I don't know what you're talking about. Then CEO quit, things like that. Obviously, now we were up here just basically 5 weeks ago, right around $600. We had that low in here of 248.88 on the week, and now we recovered. We are currently trading right around 290. So just all the volume through the roof in here for this week, just huge moves in here, all in all. So what are we going to be looking at in here going forward? Well, we're going to be looking at our daily chart in here because that was the weekly chart we just looked at. Obviously, our fib levels were kind of all in the middle of them, and we had that big drastic move down. Then obviously it's going to be hard to kind of gauge those fib levels when you have such a large move down like that. So we're going to look at the daily chart, and basically on United Health for the past Friday, you had right around 576,000 contracts of options traded. You had a put call ratio about 0.39, which means 72% were calls. And you had that stock price ending around 6% higher than where it was the previous trading session. So we got a couple of gaps in here that we can worry about on the daily chart. You can see everything extremely oversold in here on the daily. Obviously, that is going to happen when you start from $600 and you go all the way down to 248. So what are we going to be currently looking at in here? Well, our next resistance, we're just going to chalk it up to 308. That's going to be where our next gap is that we're going to need to fill. Above that, it's going to be this 9-day EMA or this 338, whichever one does come first. That's going to be our fib level in here, 23.6. Those are going to be the next two resistances we're going to be looking at. Above that, we're not going to worry about this 394 in here, which is at 38.2 fib level. We care more about this gap fill in here, 378. So that is the numbers that we're going to be looking at in here. So again, just as a reminder, 307, 308, and then 378 in here. That is what we're going to be looking at. And then also we kind of have to worry about where this 9-day EMA does end up. But the good news, it looks like if we do get above that 9-day EMA or that 338, it shouldn't be that much further away to hit this 378 mark in here. So that is good news. It's just climbing up there. So do I think we'll hit 300 this week? Yes. Do I think we're going to hold it? I don't know. It's kind of waiting to be seen. If I was a betting man, I would say yes, probably. But obviously, we kind of have to wait and see what the whole market does as well, because now all of a sudden you have correlation with the market. So we kind of have to worry about that as well. How much are we going to pull back? Are we going to over exaggerate all the market's moves? Or are we going to start trading inversely because there's so much volatility? That is something that we kind of have to worry about, just because you have so much volume and so much volatility in here that it might just kind of do its own thing just for a while. So what are we going to be looking at in here going forward? As far as, are we going to be gapping down on Monday, gapping up on Monday? It's going to be kind of wait to be seen, because you did have that overall, that big pullback in there on Friday aftermarket as you're going into this next upcoming trading week. So you had the Moody's coming in, kind of downgrade everything. So we did have a pullback basically overall in the market, but we also are going to get good news in here coming Monday or Tuesday about a potential ceasefire deal between Russia and Ukraine. So we kind of have to keep all of that in mind. So you can see this nice little pop in here midday where you had that big run up in here in UNH, held that 9-day EMA, and then obviously kind of fell off here after hours, but not as much as the market. So we have to keep that in mind. Like I just said before, we did have some correlation with the market, but because there's so much volatility, there's so much volume in here, they're going to either over exaggerate the moves or trying to start to trade inversely, right? So that is the question that we have to watch out. If the market tanks, is UNH going to tank even further? Or like it just did here in after hours, market tanked a lot. UNH didn't really do anything. If the market kind of stays put, is UNH going to climb? If market goes down further, is everybody going to run to UNH as a safe haven? And then this thing starts trading inversely. That's what I mean by all that in the correlation that we need to be aware of. So that is kind of what we're looking at here for UNH. Now, as far as our options chain, what are we going to be looking at? Because we do have a large volume and that high volatility in here coming in UNH. So it's going to be wait to be seen in here exactly what the premiums are going to be, because everything's going to change, right? Volatility changes very quickly, and it's kind of hard to gauge sometimes, especially when all the expansion of everything happens so quickly. IB ranking here of 102, $23 expected move by this Friday, next Friday, $32. Go all the way out to your June monthlies, right around a $45 or so expected move was what everybody is pricing in. So we're going to see what happens here for UNH. We're going to keep an eye on that 307. We're going to watch that next fib level up or that 9-day EMA. And then eventually we're going to see if we can worry about that gap fill at 377. But all in all, basically pretty good time in here to get into UNH. Is the $600 stock. It still holds all its value 100%. So if you are just trying to play long in here, just trying to slowly gather up some shares, not a bad idea to do it right now, because this is basically considered an outlier event, right? This is going to be an outlier event. It's going to recover. It's going to go up eventually. Just don't know how fast or when. All right, guys, if you like this video about UNH, make sure to check us out on all of our social media. We also have a Discord service if you're interested, and you can find all of our socials in the description below.